Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my January and February recap. Before I get into those topics, I want to reiterate what my no-buy year means to me to see if that helps clarify at all. So if you're not completely familiar with what a no-buy year is, basically for me, it's a pledge to myself to drastically reduce spending and primarily use what I already have. This is really important to me because I have deemed several categories to be problem categories for me. So the problem categories for me include clothing, shoes, accessories, jewelry, handbags, hair care, skincare, makeup, homewares, and houseplants. So these are my problem categories because I have in the past way over purchased in these areas. It's a personal decision to take on this year-long project, so I hope that clarifies things. Going back to my January and February recap, what I want to talk about is what I learned and what got me through those months, because I did have some growing pains, and I really want to share that with you because I'm hoping it will help someone else out there. I really do hope that this year-long project of a no-buy will inspire someone else out there, and if not inspire, at least help someone else out there. I really do want to connect with you with this topic. I think it's against the grain as far as American consumerism is concerned. We are constantly solicited to. We're bombarded with consumerism. I really wanted to take this personal journey to put my arms up against it, put my arms up and declare, not this year, not for me. So January was an interesting month for me. I was super motivated. I was kicking off my brand new no-buy project, super excited to stay committed, and committing didn't feel that difficult. I felt very on track. I really wanted to do no buying at all in January. That said, I actually did have the impulse to want to buy a lot of stuff. I think it was because I was coming off of Christmas. We had purchased a bunch of stuff for family members. There was sort of just a quick churn. Let's find things to, find new exciting things to buy all through December. And then come January, I was sort of in that same headspace, that same mindset, and I wanted to keep buying things. Anytime I saw anything that was pretty or interesting, I really wanted to buy it. But I was so committed to my brand new project that I didn't feel the desire to actually buy things. It was sort of like this, there was a knee-jerk reaction going on, but in my head I was saying, no, I don't really want to do that. I'll just cool my jets. I don't really want to do that. It felt relatively easy, but I could feel that there was a habit that was kind of pulling at me. So the new commitment was keeping me on track, but there was certainly a pull to want to be in that same consumeristic habit. If that makes sense, I hope it does. I got through January, and it was a totally different experience in February. I had felt this shift in February. I didn't feel like I wanted to buy much of anything in February. I had sort of talked myself out of the things I wanted to buy in January, and I think that it just sort of staved it off for me, and I didn't really want to buy anything. However, February was really interesting because I felt this intense need to organize. In particular, I really wanted to organize my kitchen pantry. I started shifting things around. I started purging. I started going through all of the expired food and, just organizing it all. I took to a project to busy myself in February in particular, and that project was to organize most spaces in my house, anything I could get my little hands on. So I took a bunch of time to organize things. So the main thing I felt I wanted to buy in February were bins for the pantry. So I really like these water hyacinth baskets for the pantry. They're just a really natural fiber and they look really pretty, and I wanted to buy more of those bins to do more organization. But I decided that I wasn't going to do that because this is definitely one of my pitfalls. I want to organize things and I want to buy organizational products. I did this a lot last year because we were in lockdown and it was so depressing that I had to busy myself with a project. So I bought a bunch of organization products last year, and I didn't want to do that again this year. I deemed that as a homeware, and I deemed it as a category I struggle with, and so I wasn't going to be buying anything. So instead, I decided to make do with what I already have, which was wonderful. It's great. It's absolutely great. Honestly, culling through the food that had expired and that was half eaten, you know when you buy a bag of pasta, but you're not going to cook the whole bag of pasta. I really especially like to buy these specialty pastas that are, like have little herbs and, infused pastas, that sort of thing. But, it's just my husband and I that I'm cooking for, so we often don't use an entire package of pasta. So I'll just leave a little useless portion in the bag. And it'll just kind of sit there. I should definitely make a point of using that stuff up, and most times I'm very good at it, but last year things just got forgotten. So I had a bunch of useless portions of pasta and I didn't know how old they were. I had decided it's just time to get rid of this stuff. So I cleaned all that sort of thing out, and I didn't need to buy any organizational bins, and it worked out just fine. So that's primarily what happened in January and February this year to get me through the struggles of breaking my past habits. I took a very tactical approach. I busied myself with a lot of things. I did a lot of cleaning, like deep cleaning, where you move the furniture away from the wall and you vacuum everything, that sort of stuff. Another tactical approach that I took that was extremely effective and that I haven't been very consistent with is I took to journaling. I wake up and I have a cup of coffee and I commit to writing for 5 minutes. When I do that every morning, I'm much calmer. There is something about getting the noise in your head that's just floating around freely committed to paper. There's something very grounding about it, and I found it extremely helpful to get me through January and February. Have any of you experienced that with journaling? I would really love to know. So please feel free to share in the comments if you want to. I would love to know if anybody else had that impactful an experience by just committing thoughts to paper for yourself, not for anybody else, just for your own personal journal, because I found it incredibly powerful and it made it a lot easier to get through my no-buy months of January and February. It was extremely helpful. So another tactic that helped push me through changing my spending habits was actually watching my savings grow. My husband and I are not in a bad place financially, but we certainly do not know where every dollar we're spending is going. And so that was one of my commitments for this year. I want to wrap my arms around where every dollar we're spending is going. While I don't have a clear picture of that at this point, because it's only been a couple of months still, and I don't know what the trends are, it's still too new to know the answer to that. The part that has been really helpful is watching our savings grow in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. Checking in with our financial standing was incredibly motivating because we were able to see that for the first time in a long time, we felt like options were opening up to us. Seeing a little bit of savings means a relief, a little bit of a stress relief. There was just more possibility all of a sudden. A little bit of a, oh, this is a feeling of freedom. I'm having right now. Before, it just felt like our money was always there to pay bills, and now it feels like there's a little bit of opening up, if you will, a little bit of space, and it's incredibly motivating. The last point for my January and February recap is that I realized very clearly that determination is not going to cut it for the entire year. So in other words, the newness of taking on a new project will wear off. And just simply being determined to commit to a year, I can already tell will not sustain me for an entire year to be committed to not buying things in my problem categories. I'm realizing that I have to focus on my values and how I'm shifting to love people and use things. Time is fleeting, and life is definitely too short to waste on not valuing my loved ones. I have this renewed strength that came out of January and February because I realized determination will run out, and I can sense that. It's extremely important right now to remind myself regularly that I value using things and loving people more than anything else. That life is short, and that I need to take the opportunities while I have them to appreciate my loved ones as much as I possibly can. Those are my thoughts from January and February. That's what I've learned. That's how I've grown. I am proud of myself for getting through February. As I mentioned in my intro, I tried to do a no-buy a few years ago and failed by the first week of February. And so now here I am, and I'm still doing it. I really would love for anybody else to join me on this endeavor, because it feels fabulous to feel proud of yourself. And I would want that for anybody out there. This is good stuff, and I really want it for you too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're not clear about anything, please let me know in the comments, and let me know if there's something I can explain or answer any questions that you might have for me. I'd really love to engage with you down in the comments, so feel free to ask me anything, or just, give me a thumbs up for encouragement. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you are doing really well, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.